Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Book Club. And I'm Lee, the Cold War Prepper. Tonight we're continuing to talk about, we're going to get into chapter 2 of this fantastic book. It's number 1 on top of the description down below. If you would like a link to purchase it, it's got so much stuff in here. Reading it again, what I noticed is there are all kinds of these little tips throughout. They're in little boxes. These little tips that are in here. I don't know why. We need to focus on those as well, because probably what I'll do is use those as a clue to add to my preparedness tips videos, the shorts that I put out. So many great little just 1 or 2 sentence tips throughout the entire book, and just phenomenal. But we'll be getting to that in a minute. Let's let everybody get in here. If you're watching this, excuse me, if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. We greatly appreciate it. Hope that you'll join us on the live. But then again, we really appreciate you watching the replay. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting that like and share button, and consider subscribing. I have some other friends here on YouTube that just have fantastic channels. I just watched a short 7-minute video by Michelle Mitten, Pepper Veteran. There we go. It's Mitten because she's from Michigan and she's in the Mitten part of the Michigan. But anyhow, she just did a 7-minute video on some things you might want to consider adding to your preparedness storage, some great food ideas and other things. Earlier today, I was watching Pete, and Pete's channel is The Roaming Prepper. A lot of good stuff from him. I have to watch Pepper Dog every evening. He puts out probably about a 15-minute video every evening. Really enjoy him. I really enjoy Prepping with Sarge. As a matter of fact, I'm a moderator for him. He's live every Friday night at 6:45 p.m. Just a lot of great content creators out there that I strongly encourage you to follow and to participate with, because they just do such a good job. Let's see who all is here so far this evening. Gosh, look at all my favorite people are here. Scott Hummer was the very first one here, followed by Little Lone Prepper. Welcome. Then we have Diana too. We have Cats and Prepping. Hi, welcome. And Utah Mike, Muskoka Oma, Holly Ivans, Cats and Prepping. I said, why isn't Diana too a moderator? I got to fix that, don't I? Let me see here. And the others that I have left out. Tammy Harder, welcome. Creative Redundancy, welcome. Great to see all of you. Thank you for being here. Phenomenal book, worth the money, definitely worth the money. Actually, I think it's worth more than what they're getting for it, but it's a great book, strongly recommend it. Make sure you pick up a copy and add this. There's just so much good stuff. The chapter we're doing tonight, what I really like about it is he's talking about hunkering down, preparing to shelter in place. He's got all kinds of great tips, along with, he ends this chapter with what to do to take care of your pets and your animals. And so that is so very important, because they are part of our family, and we have to remember to keep those in preparation with us so that they can do it. You don't see this. This is not very common, okay? He's got a decision tree. Look at this. So basically what it is deciding whether or not you should shelter in place or bug out. And so it's a series of yes and no questions. And I like the way that he does it logically. Instead of emotionally, we just ask a couple questions, I don't want to give you everything because I want to read the book. I think that's most important. But what's the nature of the crisis? How long will it last? How will it affect you and your home where you are? You start answering these questions, and then when you get down to the bottom, it says stay put. It says consider leaving to go to an unaffected area, stay put and shelter in place until the crisis is over, or implement your bug out and evacuation plan. So he's got two where, the results are to stay where you are, and two where you bug out, one to a different location and one to your prepared location where you intended to go in the first place. So it's just great. So I had my mic over here in this pile of stuff in the settee, and I pulled on it and I pulled the tip off. So I just want to make sure I didn't get to do a mic check. Can you do me a favor? Let me know, am I doing okay as far as both sound as well as quality? Can you hear everything okay? And are we doing okay? Sue Me, welcome. Sue Me just did a whole bunch of canning. I'm jealous. I wish she lived a lot closer so that we could share. As a matter of fact, we were commenting on that in our conversations. And, it would be so nice if we were one family together where we could share and cooperate with each other and everything else. Great. Thank you all so much. Thank you for those comments on the microphone and voice quality and everything else. KP Heathen, good evening. Welcome. Okay, so there we go. Thank you. Okay, so he starts off with this great decision tree. Just phenomenal tool. Learn how to create a decisions tree. You learn how to use one. It's just asking questions. And if yes, go to this line. If no, go to this line. Keep asking yes and no questions. And then it takes you down to a decision on what you need to do. And I like the idea that he's done that in this book, and just a fantastic thing to do. And then he says, build your emergency checklists. So, general essential items for sheltering in place, generator, fuel, solar, whatever, lighting, different types of lighting, all different types of cooking and ways of producing heat for that cooking, can opener, pet supplies, just all kinds of great ideas. I don't think we need diapers here, although I may need adult diapers here in the near future at my age. But he talks about a prepper's library and vital prepper books that he recommends that you have. He has a list of probably a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half books that he thinks are critical for the person who's going to be sheltering in place to have. Let me see. Oh, here's a tip. This is one of those great things. Learn what burns. So the top 5 natural tinders for creating a fire are dead dry leaves, fibrous tree bark, dead pine needles, dead dry grass, and weed tops. So just little tips like that throughout the entire book that I think are really, really important to everybody, whether you're a bushcrafter, whether you're a shelter in place type person. It doesn't matter, The next thing he goes through is a home defense checklist, and all the different things that you might want to have in order to be prepared to defend your home. So that's just another great one of those lists that he has. Then he also includes a bunch of safety items. Now, safety, we can kind of say that he's a little bit bicameral in the way he's talking about safety. So one way is that the typical things we think about as far as safety, fire extinguishers and things like that type of safety. Then the other one is safety from predators. And so how are you going to defend yourself? That type of safety. So he gets a whole bunch of both of those. Good footwear. I just got a new pair of Morel boots. Gosh, I love those things. Get to wear those again Thursday night. We have our Aries meeting. No, let me see. This Thursday night is our Ham Club meeting. Then the following Thursday is our Aries meeting. And then tonight was St. Vincent de Paul. Tomorrow night I teach. Gosh, let me tell you, it's been hectic. I taught 2 hours of RCIA, and that's the Rite of Christian Initiation for adults. So that's how we teach people our belief system in preparation for baptism and confirmation. And so gosh, over the course of the last 2 weeks, I probably had three of the toughest courses for those who aren't Catholic to accept in the Catholic Church. And so, when you're teaching, 24 different people these things, then that you have to make sure you have it right. And gosh, that was a challenge, but thank goodness I had the Holy Spirit was guiding me through it. So I was very happy that got done. But been very, very stressful 2 weeks because I want to make sure I present those in the best possible way to prevent opposition, so that I present it in a logical, biblical, scholarly way. And so that's taken a lot of time. Okay, back to the checklist. Continuing on with the safety items, a whole bunch of basic hand tools that he recommends. After this, when I read it the first time, I went out and got one of those hand crank drills. So I just thought that was very important. Additional tools and equipment. Then he gets into grid down cooking. So all the different things you're going to need to cook in a grid down environment. Oh, Kaylin's joined us. Good evening, Kaylin. Welcome. Good to see you. Let me see. Catch up on the cats and prepping. I'd need a modified bus or horse trailer to bug out with all of my animals. Isn't that the truth? We've got 3 Chihuahuas, and so that would be very easy. We've got a cage for each, and just throw them in the back seat of either the pickup or the car. Although we would probably end up taking both. Now, for bugging out, in case we have to, I got those 2-wheel dollies. So I'll have a 2-wheel dolly for each of us, so that basically we can zip tie our bug out bags to the 2-wheel dollies. And that way, if possible, we will reduce the load as they're walking. And so, we just have to hold on to the handle of that dolly. I also have, my daughter got me for a Christmas present. I asked for it for a Christmas present. Oh, gosh, 5 years ago. One of those 4-wheel heavy duty carts, they're like $79, I think, at Academy Sports. And I think you can get them at Walmart as well. But anyhow, she bought me one of those, and that was my original thought. My original thought was I was going to use that 4-wheel buggy to get 2 of my 6-gallon water jugs filled with water, go down to the river, pick up water, and then haul those back into the house. And I realized, that's about a mile away, mile and a half away, and I'm going to be going uphill for about 300 feet because the river's down in the valley. So that wasn't such a good idea. So then I ended up with the what's it called, where it comes off the roof and then it goes into this 350-gallon tank, rain catchment system. So I purchased the rain catchment system. So now I have an extra trolley, 4-wheel cart, heavy duty cart. It can handle 250 pounds. But I've got that also, so we could use that for bugging out as well. But anyhow, back to hunkering down or sheltering in place. So he's talking about outdoor cookware. Basically, that's a very important thing to have. Tucked by V, welcome. Good evening. Let me see. Great suggestion. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, make sure you get the rubber wheels and not the plastic ones. Plastic, especially in very cold weather, when that plastic freezes, they are they are not shatter resistant. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let me get great comments here. Wow, Holly Ivans has side packs for her dogs. He'll carry a lot of weight. Been practicing with him. That's fantastic. That must be a bigger dog, though. Bigger than a Chihuahua, that's for sure. Kaylin says some hotels that accept evacuees may accept pets. Yeah, that's true. That's not always a guarantee, however. Laura Mannion, welcome. Good evening. Says it'll be hard to bug out with our dog, but reasonable to prepare. I have a muzzle and travel kit just in case of mandatory evac, ex fire, for example, fire and flood, and also bug out bags for her. So we've got another fire just east of here in Bastrop, and we're calling it the Great Bastrop Fire #2. It's only about 10% contained, and there were major evacuations going there. But we had a fire there probably 8 years ago, and it was a humongous fire, and it took out part of the city. So the outskirts of the city. So that's happening again, and that's just terrible. Just as did you see the hurricane in the Caribbean right now that is forming? It looks like it's going to track between Haiti and Cuba, and then go up into the Gulf of Mexico, and it looks like it's headed. It's got two different cones, okay, projection cones. One is going to be up the west side of Florida again and straight up into the Carolinas. We don't need that. And the other one has it going straight towards New Orleans. They don't need that either. So terrible projections for both of those. Kaylin says that she can cook on her deck, either Coleman stove or Foley grill stove. Did you see my pantry haul? I finally found an old white gas pump handle 2-burner Coleman stove. I'm very happy with it. Haven't tried it out yet. Of course, I just got it Friday and made the Saturday show, and so now I've got to check and see what we can do with that. Ooh, Holly says somebody's 108. So let me see who that is. She's probably talking about a dog, and that's in dog years, I think. But let me see here. Okay. Wow, the Oxfords had 3 to 4 inches of snow last night, and it's starting to get chilly. Yeah, I got down to 81 here today, so we're very happy with that. Nice weather. What's really strange is what we consider nice weather, getting down to the cool part. In Germany, that's considered, people would start dying of heat stroke at 81, 82. Okay, so we're back into the grid down cooking. One of the things that I like, he mentions in here paper plates and bowls and cups. I purchase only paper bowls or styrofoam bowls, whatever you want to call them. I look for the bowls more so than for the plates, because the bowl can be used as a plate. The plate cannot be used as a bowl. So I just spend all my money on bowls. And that way it's good for whether you have a meal or whether you have a soup. Whereas you cannot use a plate for a soup or a stew. Okay, so that's my rationale behind it. Just one of the little things that I do that you may want to consider. I don't know. So Holly says that's her dog, 108 pounds. 108 pounds. I was thinking years. Thank you, Holly. Doug says, doesn't consider the hurricane season over until it says it's over. The calendar is merely a suggestion. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, that's all challenging for sure, isn't it? Gosh, I'm kind of scared about tomorrow, to be honest with you. Let me see. So Kaylin's also talking about paper cups doing the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. Pam Gibbs, good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. Yes, Utah Mike, absolutely correct. That the hot cups, and I don't have enough of those. I don't have enough cups. I probably need to get more of those. Thank you for saying that. That's a great suggestion, and I've got to remember that. Rain. It's raining. Yay. Oh, that's just such a joyful sound. So Little Lone Pepper says, I've been getting one piece of stainless steel utensil. I also got 6-inch stainless steel plates with a deep rim that can be used as a bowl. Great idea. Easy to use, disinfect, and won't break. Absolutely wonderful idea. And I prefer paper to styrofoam because I can use the paper in the fireplace or to cook with or something like that. But great idea with the reusable stainless steel. Absolutely. Uh, Theoxera says he was at Menards a few weeks ago and about stroked out at the price of paper bowls. So I'll keep my plastic bowls and double down on paper towels for cleanup. Tomorrow morning I have my Tuesday morning group, and we get together for breakfast, and that's over on I-35. Right after that, I have to take my pickup in for service. It's scheduled for service at 9:20. Get done with that, then I'll go to Sam's, pick up some stuff. And then I got to go to HEB, our local grocery store. Helen's going to fix German goulash for dinner tomorrow night, and we like that with rice. So I'd have to stop by the store and pick up some carrots and some celery to get ready for that. I don't know, Utah Mike, but I'll check on that tomorrow when I go to Sam's, and I'll try to remember to give that tomorrow. Kaylin, this is the first rain we've had in, I'm going to say 90 days. So that's why we're so happy to have it here this evening. Okay, sanitation. And he breaks it up into laundry and cleaning, showering and bathing, toiletries, and additional personal items. So, all the different kinds of things you're going to need for that. I don't know if you've noticed it or not. I've been focusing for the last couple of weeks on making sure that I get enough nasal irrigation. And so, just keep your nose clean. And I forgot to take the top. I had a new squeeze bottle for nasal irrigation, and I had the top was a $3 coupon to buy the saline solution, the little packets of salt that you add to the distilled water. I forgot to take that off and go to the store to get it. I need to do that for tomorrow, and that'll be on next Saturday's pantry haul. Got a note today that my Thrive Life shipment has shipped. Just a minute, I'll tell you what I ordered this month. leesprep.thrivelife.com. Log in here real quick. Delivery. Yeah, sign in. But I did get notice today that it shipped. Remember that I'm set up for automatic shipment on the 4th of each month. So this month I'm getting, God doggone it, my mouse. I tell you what, I moved my mouse and it took me to a different tab. Now I have to go re-sign back in. Okay, so this month I am getting 2 PCs of tomato dices, 1 PC of zucchini because it's on sale, a number 10 can of small diced beef, and that's so we can do good stew and things like that. Getting a PC of raspberries. Want to make sure we have plenty of fruits as well. Their instant milk is on sale, over 50% off. So I'm getting a number 10 can of instant milk, and then I'm getting a number 10 can of mushroom pieces, and that's going to be for soups and stews. So, that we're waiting for that. We got the notice today that it had been picked and it was being shipped. Showering and bathing, a solar backup shower. Let me tell you, I found a fantastic thing on Amazon. And basically what it is, it's a tube or a hose that goes down into a bucket, and then it's battery powered, and it sucks the water up to the shower head. So that instead of having one of those camp showers where you fill it up with like 3.5 or 4 gallons of water, hang it up, and then it's sun heated, and then all you have is gravity bringing it down. This one has battery power, so it sucks up the water from the below and then puts a little bit more pressure to it as it comes down through the shower head. So I have both now. I have both the camp shower that's gravity as well as this one that's battery. And this one that's battery, what I like about it is you can continue to add hot water to it so you can have a hot water shower when you're outside. I have that out on the back porch. Why do I have it on the back porch? Because if there is fallout and I need to decontaminate before coming into the house, I'll come in through the backyard. I have everything set up for a decontamination post on the back porch. I can hook up the shower very quickly and just rinse off any contaminants that I might have, dispose of all my clothes in the backyard, and then come into the house basically looking like a baby. And that way I won't bring any contaminants into the house. But so anyhow, he's talking about showering and bathing. Don't forget soap. Um, I will tell you, Helen had, I think it's Dove. It might be Dial. I can't remember the name of the soap. She had a soap. The two of us were turning that nozzle like you would not believe, forever and ever, trying to get it so it would pump stuff. And I accidentally hit it with my thumb, and it had a sleeve. So the sleeve is wrapped around the tube, and that's what prevents it from going down to pump. You have to push that off. I said, you know what I need to do? I next time we get one of these, because we threw the top away, I need to make a how to open this bottle video. It'll probably go viral, and I can make lots of money off of it. But anyhow, that's just for here or there. So showering, bathing, soap, shampoo, towels, all that kinds of stuff. Toiletries, toothbrushes, toothpaste. What I like is go to the dollar store. If you go to the dollar store, you get a toothbrush, a little bit of floss, a little bitty tube of toothpaste in a plastic Ziploc bag for $1.25. My gosh, you can't beat that. So, and that would become, if necessary, a good barter item as well. Next part is keeping your family fed, and it's got basically a questionnaire. You fill it out and go through the steps of planning. And so it says, I'm preparing food for how many people? I want to have food stores for how long? So how many people times how long equals how much you have to have. So then tips and tricks, how to prepare a prepper garden, and then calculating your family's food needs. So, it tells you how to do that, how to go through that process. Do not store, here's one of those tips. Do not store water in juice or milk jugs. Okay. Milk protein and fruit sugars cannot be completely removed from their containers and provide an environment that supports bacterial growth. Great stuff to know. Just filled with all kinds of tips like that throughout the book. Then he's got basically a menu chart that you can fill out. And what are you going to eat on a daily basis? What is the menu for it? Where are you going to put that menu? I have a 3-ring binder that I've basically done this same thing with. Oh gosh, 3 years ago, I think I put out a video on my card system, and then I have an annual planning calendar so that I can put like B1, L1, D1. So breakfast number 1, lunch number 1, dinner number 1. And then that takes me to a card, a 3x5 card. I think they're 4x6 nowadays instead of 3x5. But anyhow, B1 might be something like Mountain House instant scrambled eggs with bacon. Okay. Then L1 might be, oh gosh, give me a good example. A can of Campbell's. Let's just call it, because there's several ways you could do it. Let's just call it chili mac. Okay. Several ways you could cook the chili mac, but let's say L1 is chili mac. And then D1 might be something like a chicken noodle soup. Okay. And there's several ways that you can fix that as well. So then each one of those recipe cards tells you the ingredients that you need to have in stock for it. So you kind of keep off track to the right of how many you have so you can prepare for it. Then you can also refer that over to the page in your 3-ring binder where it gives the recipe if it's something you don't cook on a regular basis and don't have a common way of how you fix it. So let me catch up with the chat. Let me see. Okay. I think this is talking still about the paper cups, the hot cups. And Little and Prepper said she found some, she priced some at Walmart and passed up on them as well. Yes, a mess of napkins. We don't do napkins. What we do is I have cases or probably 15 rolls to a package or sleeve, whatever you want to call them, of paper towels. And so if you go out in the garage, I've got one of those big plastic 5-shelf things, and that's probably 1/3 paper towels and 2/3 toilet paper. But that's out in the garage because, I'm not worried about whether they freeze or get hot or anything like that. Build a family food storage cookbook. He recommends some books. I'll put links to all the books down in the description tomorrow morning. so that if you want to buy any of those books, that'll be off of my Amazon account. I can make a couple pennies here and there. Oh, by the way, thank you very much. I did get my check from Amazon, and I deposited it, so I'm making my payments. So because you watch this show, as you know, or maybe some of you new people don't know, but the vast majority of you know, 25% goes to St. Vincent de Paul, which helps those who are in need. 25% goes to the county food bank and help center. We call it the Caring Place in Georgetown. And then 25% goes to the Salvation Army. So it just so happens that I had a meeting with Scott, who is the commander for our local commander for Salvation Army, just last week or the week before, and I was able to hand him the check, and he was so happy. Since then, I've been getting all kinds of mail stuff from Salvation Army. They want me to sponsor some families for a Thanksgiving meal, and so I said, Helen and I talked it over, and we'll probably do that. But anyhow, a recap. 1/4 of everything I make on this channel, 3/4 of what I make on this channel goes to charity, period. Okay, 1/4 goes to the Salvation Army, 1/4 goes to the county food bank, and 1/4 goes to St. Vincent de Paul. 1/4 remains where I can buy gifts for you, as well as improve my equipment, and hopefully one of these days learn how to do a good job at editing so that I can really produce some good videos for you. Build a family food storage cookbook, and I told you I'll put those books in here. Then he's got recommended recipe cards that you can photocopy and keep all kinds of those. He's got 2 pages of breakfast, 2 pages of lunch, 2 pages of dinner. Then we go into his food storage checklist, where he recommends all different kinds of things, just the things that he strongly recommends. Rice, beans, pasta, jerky, all those different sorts of things. There is one down here that he does have that I want to go over. Protein bars. Nutrient Survival has some fantastic protein bar meal cookies. There's a peanut butter one, a chocolate one, and I forget what the third one is. Oatmeal based, but those come in number 10 cans. And so I used to have them right here, and I put them in storage. But when I was sitting facing that way instead of towards the backyard. But anyhow, I have 3 different kinds of Nutrient Survival protein bars, meal bars, and all 3 of them taste fantastic. So that's something else you might want to consider. The reason I have them, the number one reason I have them, is that becomes a fantastic bug out meal. So they're lightweight, they can handle the heat, and you can just eat them on the run. So strongly recommend you consider some sort of a survival cookie or a protein bar or something that is lightweight, easily packaged. You can maintain it for quite a while, doesn't melt, and you can keep it with your bug out stuff, because even in a hunker down situation, you're going to like it, but it's going to be even more critical in a bug out situation. Let me see here. Baking supplies, canned goods, spices and condiments, comfort foods, coffee. No, comfort foods is not a coffee. Coffee is not a comfort food. It is one of the 8 essential food groups. And so I probably, let me see if I have Excel. No, Excel's not called up. Let me see if I will tell you. So I do this, the way I do it is I will take, for example, if it says that there are 120 8-ounce cups in a jar of instant coffee, then I take that 120 times 8, and that gives me 960. Then I'm going to divide that by 10, because I like 10-ounce cups, and that gives me 96 cups. So I won't have 120, I'll only have 96. Yes, I want to keep recent changes and go to that spreadsheet. So come on. It's going to take, there we go. So let me go here to metals, ammo, fuel and light, dry packages, spices and those. I'm looking at my tabs, soups, sauces, protein, pasta, and it's in alphabetical order down here. Drinks. Where are drinks? Coffee right there. Okay, so right now I have 4,458 servings of freeze-dried coffee, and I have uh, 8,250 servings of coffee beans. That is bean coffee that I have to kind of do this. Oh no, I don't have a total there. Insert formula. Insert formula. Come on, formulas. Where are they? Oh no, I don't know where my formulas are. Golly. Anyhow, I need to add that one up. Let me see. That's 198 plus 30 is 218 plus 288. Let's just call that 500. 550 plus 70 is 620 plus 75 is 695. So about 695 servings of oh no, I counted the wrong column. That's the total. Okay, so different column. I got probably around 1,000 servings of ground coffee. So, so we got plenty of coffee. I think that'll probably last us at least a year. We hope. It's one of the bad things about the Army is it really gets you addicted to coffee. And I think you saw in the last pantry haul, the last couple pantry hauls, I've been getting number 10 cans of Swiss Miss chocolate. I go through that like you would not believe as well. So, fantastic. That is so great to hear, Fioxos. Yeah, I used my photo ID. I used my driver's license when I voted. We voted the second day that early voting was available here in Texas, and ran into half my parish there. And then I asked the person who was taking the ID how many people had been through, and he said that at that polling place, and this was at noon on the second day, so it had already been open 12 hours and the day before, and then from 7 until noon. So about 17 hours. In about 17 hours, they said 3,000 people had come through. So we did break records as far as how many people early voted. I think I heard that Williamson County, my county, 52% of the registered voters have already voted with early voting. So I think people are really, really serious about it this time. Isn't that the truth? Thank you, Caitlin. It's an apple, by the way. So, yes, and so the last time I checked, silver was $32 an ounce. I bought most of mine at 14, so I'm very, very happy with that. Yeah, I wish I'd probably gotten better on ammo. We've also had 3 of the major ammo producers have gone down in the last just month. So we're going to see shortages in ammo here in the very near future if we have a major conflict. Then we're going to see the same thing happen as during the shutdown in 2020. And ammo is going to be more and more difficult to come by. So I would say, very good advice, Tuck Pivey. Just let's get ammo, precious metals, and paper bowls. Because the prices will only go up; they won't go down. That's for certain. But then again, check into those stainless steel camping stuff, like was mentioned earlier. Those deep rimmed plates that can be used as bowls as well. Those are really great. I think I have some of those. They kind of look like the plates. You could actually call them a bowl that the miners used when they're looking for gold. And panning for gold. That's what it's called. Okay, spices and condiments, comfort foods, popcorn, chocolate, snack cakes. I think you saw I've been not freeze drying, vacuum sealing Snickers bars because I saw a video where Rudy, the Alaskan prepper, another great channel, had been vacuum sealing his Snickers bars. He opened one 7 years later and ate it and he said it was still good. put the other one back in. He vacuum sealed it and going to leave that for another 7 years. I guess we'll see if it's good at 14 years if we have a chance. Different spices and condiments. I was disappointed. We needed some ketchup, and I went into my pantry and got some ketchup that was maybe 2 years old. It was starting to turn. So beware. Some of those, the high acidity items like ketchup, can go bad very quickly. So don't plan on having that for too long of a period. Watch how long make sure you check on your stuff quite frequently as to whether or not it's still good. We also had, and this was a while back, it's not something new, but mandarin oranges. I had a case of those, blew up and basically black molded on me. Then I also had a case of I want to say peaches, but I know for sure one was mandarin oranges and the other was, I think, peaches. Both of those basically blew up after a couple of years. They ate through the can, all that kinds of stuff. Have not had the problems with tomatoes like I expected, but I try to keep most of that in glass jars. That's why I concentrate so much on the freeze-dried tomatoes from Thrive Life, is because I don't want to, have high acidity things that much in the pantry, especially back in the back where it's tough to get to clean up and if anything happens. Let me see. Keeping your family hydrated and clean, calculating your family's water needs. Then it goes into several different ways of cleaning it and things you need to store it. It also says mapping your home's hidden water supply. So where are the different sources of water inside your home that are already here that you can tap into, and that will give you additional sources of water. Not that much, but there is some. You can he talks about 3 different ways to purify your water: filtration, chemical treatment, and boiling. And then, of course, he finishes up with caring for your pets before, during, and after a catastrophe. So one of the things, I have Chihuahuas. Oh gosh, the pet prepping checklist is phenomenal. Just, I really love it. What was I going to say? Oh, one of the things we did is, during that initial 2 to 3 weeks, Chihuahuas typically are a little bit more assertive, aggressive, noisy than most other dogs. So we got some gummy bear treats for them that kind of mellow them out, and they aren't quite as excited. So we'll have those available to us to try to kind of keep them calm, so that they aren't overly rambunctious when people walk by. We want to make people think that we're all gone inside the house, and so that we don't present a target. But we don't want the dogs to give that away. So that's something you might want to consider, is some sort of a calming medication for your animals, especially if they're loud and boisterous like mine. Other considerations for sheltering in place: entertainment for adults. I think I showed you, I just went to when I went and gave my check to the carrying place, I walked through and saw if there was anything I wanted to buy in there. I was actually looking for a pressure cooker. I mean, not a pressure cooker, but a pressure canner, so I could start doing canning like Kaylin does. Hi, Pam. How you doing? Pam Gibbs is in. But, so I start doing some canning like that. That's what I was looking for. I ended up finding this unopened set of bridge cards, 2 decks along with the scorecard. I don't know. Helen doesn't play bridge, but I may be able to find 3 other people who play contract bridge. And if not, I can teach them. We used to play penny a point contract bridge, penny a point spades, and penny a point pinochle, penny a point hearts in the Army. Gosh, in the barracks all the time. So other things they recommend for adults, crossword puzzle books, Sudoku, even what do you call them, puzzles for that you can put on a table or something like that. Paper, pens, pencils. As you know, I am big on getting all kinds of notebooks and spiral bound books and everything, log books, everything I can imagine for that. So I have a full drawer full out in the garage in my file cabinet of papers and spiral bound things. Then I have all of the books for the kids for each. I've gone to Walmart and I have at least one workbook for every year so that we can basically homeschool them in a post-apocalyptic world. Coloring books, things for the kids. Dartboards. Now, here's something else you may not have thought about, but dartboards are entertainment because it used to be a weapon. So now that it's entertainment, why not use that entertainment to teach people how to have another weapon? So you can throw a dart, and those can be quite penetrating. How's that? Okay. Cosmetics and miscellaneous candles, scented candles, hard candy, gum, other comfort foods. My gum I threw away. I opened up a thing of gum that I had vacuum sealed, and I figured that would keep it pretty good. They were actually gum balls. Then I bit into one, and man, oh man, I almost broke my porcelain teeth. It was rock hard. So I am not so sure about gum, but other hard foods and other things. Some of the hard foods, I like a lot of the lifesavers, butter rum, wintergreen, the 5 flavors, they're individually packaged. Then Jolly Ranchers are good to keep. I also vacuum seal my Twizzler licorice. So I vacuum seal one of those about every other week. What other kinds of candy do I have? Oh, I want to say Stouffer's, but it's not. It's a butterscotch type of a candy. But oh yeah, and then butterscotch. The packages of butterscotch you get. I think Brock's makes them. But there's all kinds of great hard candies that you can get that you can use and use those for rewards, for treats, for stuff they have. You'll notice, and I put them in my pantry haul earlier Saturday. I also do a lot of Jiffy pie mixes or Jiffy cake mixes. And the reason is so I can have a whole bunch of that available to me. A can or two of fruit in the bottom of a Dutch oven with a crust of Jiffy cake mix or Jiffy pie mix. You've got yourself a great cobbler. And that would be a really good morale boost in a post-apocalyptic world. So that's basically all of chapter 2. Let's see where we are with the comments. And then we'll talk about, is there anything special you're doing? You can start doing that now, typing in, what are some of the special precautions that you're doing right now in preparation for day after tomorrow, once we have initial idea of how the vote went? So Cats and Preppings, order, Thrive Life order went in as well. So Little Lone Prepper says that her kitchen utensils were made in separate pieces. And that's a great idea. I like to get my cooking utensils in the, what do they call it? I guess the chef area or the commercial restaurant supply area of Sam's. So I know those are heavy duty. So my serving spoons, my ladles, all the things I'm going to use to serve the community are coming out of there. They also have some heavy duty plastic utensils that actually last pretty good. And then you might want to get some of those half sheet aluminum steam table pans for serving if you're going to serve a large group of people. And you might want to have the warming trays. But that's great stuff that you might want to keep as well for your pantry, especially if you're going to cook for several people or more than at least one or two. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. But believe it or not, if you have your gravity water shower out there, most of them are made so that they attract the heat of the sun and warm up the water in the bladder. So it's not as hot as I would like, but it is warm. It's not ice cold. So that's the good news. It can be frustrating. Tell me the makes and models, Kaylin. Let's start doing some videos. How to open these types of soap and shampoo dispensers, and maybe we can make a whole bunch of money teaching other people how to open some of these things once we find out how to do it. And so if you notice, look at my pepper pantry haul for this last weekend. It was the first of the month. Every first of the month, I order a package, and it's 4 packages, actually, a bundle, 4 packages. And I think each package is 20 wipes, but they're basically the wipes that you use in a hospital bed to bathe somebody when they're bedridden and can't be put in the shower. So I get, I'm going to call it 80 sheets, bath sheets, and they probably use 4 of them per bath. But so maybe 20 baths in this package that comes on an auto delivery or whatever they call it, subscription, auto subscribe. You get a little bit of a discount when you do it that way. But I get one of those every month, and they come in usually at the beginning of the month. I think my auto ship with my auto ship with Thrive Life is on the 4th, and my auto ship with Amazon is on the 2nd. It's not a ship; it's actually an arrival on the 2nd. Isn't that the truth? Children can open anything. They can teach me things on my. There's my granddaughter. Golly. But they can teach us stuff on our cell phones. All kinds of good stuff. Kids are great at figuring things out, especially the things you don't want them to figure out. They're really good at that. Okay, we're probably talking about vintage cooking material. I'm going to assume. Great idea, Kaylin. Yes, and so there's all kinds of things that we can do that. Absolutely. If you are going to be in a hunker down situation and without power, and then what you want to do is you want to use all the stuff that's going to go bad first, and that would be things that are fresh, things that are in your freezer and refrigerator. Now, what I would recommend that you do is kind of clean out your refrigerator and then because as long as your stuff is tightly packed in the freezer, that will stay a long time as long as you don't open and close the freezer too often. So then what you can do is pull out maybe 2 days worth of frozen stuff out of the freezer real quickly, put it down into the refrigerator part. It'll thaw. It will keep that fairly cool in there. Now, somebody put in one of my Facebook groups, they had a secret that they do these bottles and they freeze the bottle, and then they have frozen, ice water, basically. So one of the things I do, and I've done ever since I had my disaster response company, is when I buy a case of water, half of that water went into the freezer. So if you go out in the garage, probably 1/4 of the freezer is going to be bottles of water, just regular bottled water that I've frozen. And so when the freezer goes bad, that water stays inside those bottles, and it's drink potable water, but it's going to be another source of ice to keep everything cool. I can then take those out and put them in a cooler. And the good thing about that is, versus ice, is when this thaws, it's contained inside the container. So then you don't have water melting over your ground beef, which gets into your chicken, which then gets into your ham steaks, right? All that water as it's going through all those different things. So having it contained in a nice watertight container, when you freeze that container with the ice in it, is a great way of keeping your food storage cooler for a longer period and not getting any cross-contamination as the water melts. Yeah, there's no such thing as a child-proof item, let alone prepper. Everything, they figure out everything. We spent all this money. My daughter said, we had to spend all this money on these door handles so that the kids can't get in. We had to put locks on everything. I had to put, I have to keep everything locked up in my gun cabinet. And whenever they came over, my 2-year-old grandson, poof, he just buzzed right through everything that was designed to keep him out of it. Just he didn't even have to figure it out. Oh, funny thing. Just sent the pictures to my wife, but she found an aging app. So she took a picture of my 6-year-old grandson and then asked the computer to age what he will look like at 18 years old. She found a picture of me at 18 years old. She sent those to my wife. She says, which one's which? So my poor grandson's going to grow up looking like me. Oh, gosh, poor kid. Great. Yes, good comment. Very valid comment, Feoxris. So make sure you have gloves when you're cooking, especially outdoors. Make sure you have, I use a lot of silicone items. So I have silicone hot pads. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll take the silicone pad, put it in the microwave with the bowl of whatever I'm warming up on that silicone hot pad. Then I can just pull that hot pad out and use it as, so that the heat doesn't transfer through it, as a holder, so that I can bring it over to the table and set it down. Then I just leave it on that same hot pad as I eat on it. The nice thing about that is you can use these silicone hot pads and wrap them around the handle of metal objects or metal handles or anything like that. I use them for my Dutch oven, all kinds of different ways that you can do it. But get some silicone. Let me show you what they look like. I've got both rounds and squares. Just a minute. Okay, so each of these, I got a 4-pack of each of these on Amazon. It's 4 different colors. But here's the silicone rounds. They're fairly thick, nice and flexible. You can use it as a grip, around almost anything. And then you've got the square, which is basically the same as the diameter for the round. So, just this one gives you a little bit more, and you can use it the same way. It's very flexible. You can use it as a gripper. You can use it as a handle. I can put a bowl on top of this, put it in the microwave, warm it up. You know how the bowl gets really hot and you almost burn your hands with stuff. And but if I set it on this, then I can pull it out by the corner until it gets to the point where I can use this as a handle and then move my hand underneath and move that bowl or that plate and not get burnt or hot or anything else by using the silicone pads. Stock up on these. These are going to be very, very critical, especially for handles on metal objects that are in a fire, for moving your pot or anything like that. Stock up on them. They're going to be a great addition to your home cooking repertoire for a post-apocalyptic world. I will do a video on that. So what I have is first I have a calendar. It's so you got them. So here down here you've got the months, and across you've got the days. So 1 through 31, right? So each of the squares, this is a graph, and so each of those squares, I can have breakfast is big enough for me to write B for breakfast, L for lunch, and D for dinner. And then I have a number next to it. So that number represents a meal. So for example, in my 3x5 cards, I might have B1, and then that title for B1 is bacon and eggs. Okay. So I just know that every time on this calendar that there's a B1, I'm planning on eating bacon and eggs, let's say Mountain House bacon and eggs for a meal that day. Okay. Then I can also transfer that over to a recipe card. So on that meal card where it says B1, it says 1 meal, breakfast and eggs. I'm going to have coffee. I need sugar for that. So it lists all the things I need for that meal to feed however many people I'm going to feed. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 packages of Mountain House bacon and eggs. I'm going to need 2 slices of toast, 2 patties of butter, 2 cups of coffee, 4 teaspoons of sugar, all this different kinds of stuff. That becomes the basis of my inventory on what I need to purchase and store in order to have that B1. So that way I can keep an inventory as well as that. Now, if there is a recipe, okay, so you notice on that card where I said breakfast number one, I need coffee, orange juice, which is going to be Tang, um, bacon and eggs, all this salt, pepper, sugar, creamer, all those different kinds of things. Well, under bacon and eggs, let's say that's a beef stew. Okay, so if it's a beef stew, then I might have another number off to the side. That number, let's say that number is 14. Okay, now notice there's no B, L, or D because those are the menus, the items I'm going to eat for that day. But now I have a recipe number 14. So I go to recipe number 14, and it says, in order to make beef stew, I need the following. I need 1 pound of cubed beef. I need 1 pound of cubed potatoes. I need a half a pound of sliced carrots. Well, where do I get those? From my inventory. So now I know the inventory I need. So I can get the potatoes either diced through several manufacturers, Algerson Farms, Thrive Life, all these different manufacturers. You can get cubed potatoes in a can at Walmart and at other grocery stores, a small 14 and a half ounce can. And you're going to get, cubed potatoes in there. You can get whole potatoes. You can also get sliced potatoes in those. So, now you start looking at how you're going to develop your overall inventory so you can do that recipe, and that recipe is a component of that meal. Okay. I'll try to clarify that with another video and show that to you. Great idea. Great idea. Yeah, make sure you're making full use of your thrift stores. Let me see here. We buy the half-size paper towel sheets. I think they're made by Brawny, and we get those at Sam's. And that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. So create a redundancy like wooden. There's one, what's it called? I forget what it's called. A spurtle, I think is what it's called. But it's basically a long piece of wood. It's kind of curved at the end, kind of like a spoon. Not really. A little bit more than a flat spatula. Kind of a flat spoon, let's call it. And I think that's why they call it a spurtle. But they're made out of bamboo. That's one of my favorite cooking tools. I use that to stir, for eggs. I use it for everything. I think it's called a spurtle, and it's made out of bamboo. But I agree. Now the tough thing is make sure you disinfect them because wood does absorb and retain some of the things that are bad for us. So you want to make sure you really clean those and that you disinfect those. Yeah, isn't that the truth? I think that's a sin of all of us. We just did pinto beans a different way. Of course, we did it in the not the crock pot, the not minute cooker. What's it called? It's the electric pressure cooker. And so we just did pinto beans that way. Probably won't use that recipe again. The tried and true. This is how we've done it for years. Just throw it in the pot and then throw this in and that in. It works better. I was a little bit disappointed with the taste of these, but we decided we were going to try something new. We tried it. We didn't like it. We'll see if there's anything else we want to try. That's going to be something. Yeah. That's get your kids to open the liquids and the soaps for you. Absolutely. So I couldn't believe it. I primarily use my coffee pot. I primarily use the coffee grinder that my mother-in-law gave me. Gosh, it's probably 10 years old. I like bean coffee that I grind myself, and that's my preferred. And but that's kind of a little bit tedious to make a pot of coffee in the morning. And so, but it gives me a chance to say my prayers while I'm standing there trying to make some coffee. So Helen decided, since she has a Keurig, I bought her a Keurig for Christmas. When they first came out, we just had to replace it here in the last month. So she has a brand new Keurig. And she says, why don't you use my Keurig first thing in the morning for your first cup of coffee, waiting for your coffee to make? And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So I had one of her cups. And so now I've got, she bought me, and now these are on Subscribe and Save as well with Amazon. But I will show you what she's got for me now. A box of each of these coming in each month so that I can partake of the Keurig. So I get a box of each of these on Subscribe and Save each month. This is, let me see it. One of them's dark, and the other one is medium roast. So, but both of these are Black Rifle. So and you may have seen me with my Black Rifle coffee cup occasionally, but I really like Black Rifle coffee. And I like both the medium and the dark roast. There's one Sasquatch that is just, whoa, that'll take the enamel off your teeth. But it's a fantastic Army style coffee. I love it. But so Tammy's with me. Coffee comes first. Valerie Facette, good evening. Welcome. That's a new name. So happy you would join us. Listen, there's a lot of great people in chat. Make sure you get to know them. Just a great group of people. So strongly recommend you get to know them. Okay. You know what? In the Army, in your C rations, that's what we used to call the canned goods, although all of them theoretically are C rations. And as a matter of fact, I saw a Mermite can for sale on eBay. I might buy it. But anyhow, we had instant coffee in it. And so I started liking instant coffee simply because I got used to it with the MREs and with the C rations. So let me see here real quick. I'm looking for one. I've looked up Mermite can. They are available on eBay, and I'm looking for one that shows the inserts. So each Mermite can has 3 inserts. Oh, there we go. There's one. Okay, so let me get that up. Then I can share my screen. So this is what you use for an Army B ration, okay? So A ration is cooked in the mess hall. You eat it in the mess hall. B ration is cooked in the mess hall. They put it in these Mermite cans and ship it out to you. Then they spoon it out of the Mermite can onto your mess kit as you walk through a line. That's a B ration. And then a C ration is prepackaged food that you prepare yourself and eat yourself out in the field. So let me share a screen here. I believe it's this one, present. Share screen. There we go. There it is. All right, so here is, so here's the Mermite can, okay? So this is the can right here. Notice it's OD and everything else, so which doesn't do too good a job of camouflaging it out in the desert. But anyhow, it's OD green. Inside it has these 3 canisters. So typically you might have like a Salisbury steak, which is a hamburger in gravy, mashed potatoes, and then and then let's call it my favorite was peas. My favorite example is we were on an exercise in Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, when I was in basic training, and it was cold outside. And so we were walking through the line. We got our peas first, then our mashed potatoes, then our Salisbury steak, and then they spooned a little bit of the gravy of the Salisbury steak on top of the mashed potatoes. By the time I found a place to sit down and got my cup of coffee and everything else, my peas had already frozen to my plate or to my metal mess kit. So that's my memory of eating out of a Mermite can, was to where the food that they served us froze before you had a chance to eat it. But anyhow, that's just, I would love to have one of those, but they're quite expensive. I would strongly recommend you do an inventory, see how long it's going to last, see whether you can share or not. And so I wish I had done that one for my ground coffee. I guess I need to go back and do I never noticed that. I don't have a total number of there. Caitlin, please be careful tomorrow as you go vote. No, maybe that's why I didn't see you. So that's why I didn't see your thing Sunday, huh? Absolutely. As I wholeheartedly agree with you. Make sure you have plenty of tang. Make sure you have plenty of tang. That if it was good enough for the astronauts, it's good enough for me. But anyhow, Caitlin, please be careful. There are reports that there are going to be disruptions at the polling stations. So please, please, please be careful. Keep your eyes open. They did catch a guy today, a white supremacist, and the FBI caught him. He was planning on using a drone with bang bang stuff attached to it. He was going to fly it into a transformer to try to take out an area in I believe it was in Tennessee, and try to take out the transformer in the power grid. But I was watching the Dave Hodges show. He's out of Arizona, and he says that he has it from reliable sources that he knows that there's going to be attacks on the grid tomorrow. Drone attacks that are coming by the cartels and some of the terrorist organizations against the United States, and they're primarily aiming at Arizona. I hope he's wrong. I hope he's 105% wrong. But anyhow, one of the things I don't have a lot of, Utah Mike, is tea. The tea that I do recommend is instant tea. My gosh, an hour and 12 minutes. I can't believe that. We need to bring this to a quick halt. Gosh, are we overtime? But okay. Over 2/3 of a million Iowans have already voted. That's great. Hey, Michelle. Hey, listen, I just suggested your 7-minute video on the 20 foods you recommend people have in storage here earlier at the very beginning of this. So you have to go back. You're mentioned in a good way. Okay. So let me see. I haven't bought one yet, Caitlin. I am not. I don't know if I want to go the 224 or the 177. I haven't made up my mind yet. I know I want one or the other. I just haven't made up my mind which one I want to get. So Tuck by V, well, I want you to know that there are Karens out there. And the minute you say the word aluminum, you will be chastised up and down 3 ways across and from 720 degrees in a circle by people telling you how bad aluminum is. So aluminum does leach. You will probably absorb enough aluminum over the course of 60 years to kill you. So since I'm 72, I will probably, if I use aluminum survival cookware, when I'm 132 years old, I will probably have had enough leaching of aluminum into my body to where it will cause some dramatic effects. So I just want you to be aware of that people are going to be telling you that. They're adamant about it, that you should not be using aluminum. And but be prepared. So that's high courage to admit that you have aluminum products. Of course, I can take it because I can tell them, hey, I will worry about the effects of aluminum leaching when I reach 132 because I'm 72 now. So I'll worry about it then. Right now, I'm going to continue to have aluminum and aluminum products as part of my prepping. Hello, Storms, Radios, and Cats. Good evening. Welcome. We're about ready to shut it down. Sorry. But of course, there's always the review. East Tennessee Preparedness. Gosh, haven't seen you for a while. Congratulations. Welcome back. Always good to see you. I miss your videos as well. I don't know whether it's because they're not coming in the feed, but there's another one that you need to take a look at is East Tennessee Preparedness. When he does his preparedness videos, that's another great channel. Great question, Simi. I have not seen it dehydrated or freeze dried, but that would be a great thing to have. Pineapples. That might be the one that froze, that exploded on me. I don't think there's any problems with mandarin oranges in the glass jar. I did have problems with them in the cans. They eat through that little thingy. Okay, let me see here. Gosh, look at all these great comments. I'm going to just storm past these. I am so sorry. But we got to get to this. And I have not yet talked to Tom. I was hoping that I would be able to confirm this evening that next Monday, which is also Veterans Day, that I would have Tom, my friend who is he's a nuclear physicist from Los Alamos, to talk to us about the effects of a nuclear explosion and try to dissuade a lot of this fear that is out there, that is being fear-mongering that is being done, that any nuclear explosion is the end of the world. I wanted Tom to dissuade that. I have not yet confirmed it. Next week, one of two things. On Veterans Day, we will either have chapter 3 of that fantastic book, The Prepper's Handbook, or we will have Tom, my friend, who is a retired nuclear physicist from Los Alamos Weapons Laboratory. Just to tell you how close of a friend he is, his wife, Karen, was a witness at our wedding. So that's just a great couple. Just what a great couple. You know, Proverbs 17:7. Let me see if I can find that for you here before we shut down. Let me get my glasses. That's way back here. Psalms, Proverbs 17:7. And then I'll give you Lee's corollary to it as well. Okay, 17:7. Oh no, I have that memorized wrong. Where is it? Well, I've got the memorized wrong. It's not 17:7. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's 7:17. Let's take a look at that tab. I don't know. Anyhow, somewhere in Proverbs it says that as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And so hang around with sharp people. Lee's corollary to that is quit hanging around with butter knives. Hang around with sharp people. Hang around with people who know more than you do. Hang around with people who are wiser than you are. Hang around with people who you can learn from, and then your life will be just made so much greater. As a matter of fact, I taught RCIA yesterday. I did 2 hours. And so Helen was talking to Rhonda, and Rhonda's husband is Earl. And she was sharing that I feel like a first grader when I'm standing in the presence of Earl. Earl he's the nuclear submarine commander, retired. Gosh, I feel I feel like the butter knife of that relationship. So just wow, what a great guy. Okay. So we will go to the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. And it says, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and the Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. So thanks everybody for being here. I'm sorry that we ran so far over. We actually finished with the initial part at a quarter till, and so Michelle's got a piece of good advice here before we close out. But remember, hang around with people who can sharpen you. That's God's gift to us is to have good friends, especially good friends of the quality of you that keep me sharp. So thank you for doing that. Remember that we're all in this together so we can come out the other side together. Please be kind, polite, and respectful to each other. Keep your head on a swivel tomorrow. Be suspicious. I would say until we meet again on Veterans Day, please be extremely cautious. There are people saying that things are going to happen, and I don't want to see it happen to you because we're all going to come out of this together. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.